If you recently got access to the new Kajabi Communities 2.0 beta, congratulations. Clearly, Kajabi Claus thought you were able to stay off the naughty hero list and rewarded you with awesome access. But now what? In this video, I'm going to go over a couple quick getting started concepts that you will want to know in order to avoid a lot of the confusion and mistakes that I've seen some people make over the last few weeks. Are you ready? Let's get started. Now, the first thing that I want to just clarify that this will be a quick overview video. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on the different features because this is a beta and the official version is launching in a few weeks, and there's probably going to be a ton of changes. So this will just be a quick and dirty version of the walkthrough, just so you can get started setting up your beta access right now. It's also important to remember that this is a beta. Not everything is going to be working perfectly. There will be glitches. There will be some minor weird inconveniences for the user experience, which is why you'll want to provide feedback to the dev team inside of the feedback portal inside of your beta platform. A lot of people have been struggling to wrap their heads around the new Communities 2.0, the access groups, the circles, and how it all comes together. So let me show you instead of just telling you how it works. So here I've got a visual kind of layout of an example dog site, a dog niche site. So we're all familiar with the fact that a site would have multiple pages. A site can also have multiple podcasts associated to it. However, with a Kajabi site, you get one blog, one product library, and one Communities 2.0 or community container. So here's what I mean. Inside your one blog for your site, you might have multiple categories, and each category might have multiple posts. But at the end of the day, you have one blog. If you tell people, head to the blog and you'll find this post, they don't have to ask, which blog am I going to? Because your site only has one blog, but it can have multiple posts on a variety of different categories. The same with your product library. You might have courses, you might have coaching products, and you now have community access groups that are products within your product library. So while you have one library that you would send people to access anything that they purchased, within that library, you might have a couple courses, you might have a couple access groups, etc. Now, your course, as we all know, is broken into modules, and each module will have lessons associated to it. But those lessons are contained within that course. And of course, you can have multiple courses. Now, with your community container, we'll have one or more access groups. And those access groups will have what are called circles inside of them. Okay. So for example, you might have 3 access groups within your dog niche site. Inside of your community, you might have a free access group where even if people don't buy any of your products, they could sign up and just join your community and get access to this one circle, which is just general discussion. It could be a chat, it could be a discussion board, whatever you want it to be, but this will be the one topic they get access to. Now, you might want to make it so that anybody who purchases the offer that includes the nutrition course and the command training course also gets access to the community inside of a paid student community access group. In that case, they would get access to just this group. And this group might contain a couple circles, a couple public circles, and might have a couple private circles. So what is the difference with the two? Public circle means anybody within this group can see these circles. However, the private circles are invite only, which means within this paid student group, you might have a cohort or small coaching group of 7, 10, 20 people, whatever, that you manually invite to this private discussion group, which means only the people who've been invited can talk in this group or this circle, but they can all still see the public circles. You might have a second private circle that talks about fundraising or whatever topic. The people you invite to this circle won't see this circle unless they're also invited to this circle. However, they can all see these public circles. So hopefully that makes sense. So you might organize your community, keeping in mind that each one of these groups is a product slot in your library. So depending on how much product space you have, will probably dictate how creative you get with your access groups. But you might have a group for free, you might have a paid group, and you might have a second paid group on a completely different type of training that has different discussions going on. Now, here's the thing. With these access groups, they can't see the other groups. So if someone only has access to the dog training group and they don't get access to these free and paid groups, this is the only group they'll see. So you might have an offer that includes a free group. You might have an offer that includes the paid student group, and you might have an offer that includes the dog trainers group. But you could grant someone access to all three of these groups by using three separate offers, using automations, for example. But if you don't do that, they won't know that they exist. Now, as far as how easy is it to access any of these groups, it's pretty much the exact same way that they would access any other course. They could come into their library and then just click on the access group that they have, and it will take them into the community where they will see whatever groups and circles that they have access to. There's no real complicated aspect to it. If they're using the Kajabi app for the communities, they can just access the app and it'll just pop up. There's no complicated login process or whatever. It's very fast. As far as do different access groups have different logins? Nope. Just like different people who own different courses don't have different logins. One login takes them to their product library. From there, they can access their community group. If they try and access the community group without already being logged in, it will just prompt them, just like if they were trying to access a training course, that they have to log in first. That's the only catch. With the mobile app, that's not required. So for example, let's say you have an ongoing monthly membership program, and you also want to have a secondary kind of group that's 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. You might not need to create a second access group. You could just have your monthly access subscription. And then within that monthly group, anyone who pays for your 7-week program coming up, you could just create a private circle for them to join in and then just add them to that 7-week program. And the nice thing is, once that program is complete, you can just leave the circle and they can continue discussing within their own private circle about the topics from that 7-week training program without having to dive into the public discussion that everyone else might just be clueless on or have no idea what they're referring to. So that's just something to keep in mind. You don't need separate access groups for every product. You could have just multiple circles that discuss on what the products you have are teaching, or you could create a private circle if you wanted to. Now, if you want to have a product be connected to a second access group that's specifically for that course, sure. Just realize that you're using 2 product slots in that case, but it's all within one community. They only have to go to one place to access all of these things, just like they did with the library. Now, one cool aspect of the new Communities 2.0 is, of course, the challenges. Now, you do have the option of doing a one-time challenge or a recurring challenge, say every day for 7 days, or a 6-week challenge. So every week, every Monday for 6 weeks, this kind of challenge will come up. And these challenges are meant to help get people to take action, get them to see past any sort of reluctance and doubt and just say, hey, challenge number 1, do this task. And then day number 2, here's your task. And each challenge point is essentially helping them to accomplish something so that they are seeing progression, they're seeing results, and they're motivated. Now, one of the questions that has come up is, can you have an evergreen challenge? And realistically, the challenges are evergreen by default. Here's what I mean. Let's say you do a 7-day challenge, and every day of that challenge, there's a new task for people to complete. If you decide to just leave that challenge up, it'll just stay there. It is technically evergreen. But the thing is, if you want a challenge that is, say, tied to a prize or a 30-day challenge where, at the end of that challenge, someone has a chance to win access to another product or a course, then there is an actual deadline. But if you just want to just have a 7-day challenge that every new person who joins your community sees, you can just leave it up and they will be able to join the challenge as it is. It's just that it will be an expired challenge as far as any contests or competitions that you want to run goes. Hopefully that helps clarify that. Now, as far as who can see a challenge, challenges are associated to a specific access group. So if you have a free access group and a paid access group, you can have challenges that only the paid access group can see. So you might have an incentive for people to upgrade to your paid group if they want to take part in, say, monthly challenges or weekly challenges, but you might have an introduction challenge for all your free access group members to get their feet wet with. And if they like it, you can say, hey, if you liked this, you're going to like our ongoing challenges in this group. So make sure to access it with an upgrade here. And once a challenge is complete, you do have the ability to export all of the submissions, all of the results into a CSV file or a spreadsheet so that you can quickly see the person, their email address, and their submission so that you can quickly filter for what you're looking for to hand out a prize of your choosing if you want, or just see if there's any commonality in frustrations or challenges that people seem to be encountering as they're attempting to complete your challenge. Now, one thing to keep in mind as it relates to the access groups, a lot of people will be tempted to just do a free access group and treat it as a sort of lead generation. Just remember that unlike lead generation with, say, a form submission to get an email or a free video, if you are giving people access to a product, which is what an access group is, they actually count towards your active members count, not just your total contacts count. So you make sure you take a look at your current subscription plan within Kajabi and realize that if you sign up 5,000 or 10,000 free members, that you may actually be forcing yourself to upgrade to a higher subscription package. Otherwise, all of your active member limit will be tied up with free members who might not be actually paying you any money, which is also why you will want to have a monetization strategy in place for any free members that sign up so that you can try and recoup any costs that you have, make it worthwhile for those free members. Or maybe you just limit your access to your groups to paid members and just do free PDFs, free course, free videos, etc., and then try and entice those people to sign up for your paid community. However you choose to do it, it's up to you, but just be aware of those active member limits as it relates to your account. Now, one of the most exciting aspects of this new Communities 2.0 that not a lot of people are talking about is the fact that all of the communities are on the same platform. Here's what I mean. Let's say that I have a community group and many other people have a community group. You might have a customer or member who actually has products on other Kajabi user accounts. So when they join those communities, they can access and swap and change back and forth through all the communities in one place. Just like here on Facebook, you might be part of multiple Facebook groups. When you're not logging in and out of different Facebook accounts to access those groups, you can do it all from within the Facebook platform. The same thing applies here with the Kajabi community. The platform allows people, if they're part of 6 different Kajabi user communities, without having to log in and out of multiple different apps or platforms, they can just swap from a dog training community to a baking community to an accounting community to an adventure outdoor sports community. And as a result, we're going to get a lot more engagement, a lot more activity in all of our communities, because as someone is just chilling in one community, they might get a notification about another community. So they might hop into that group, get involved in a live room, in a group discussion or whatever, and then say, hey, I'm going to go check out that baking community that I'm in. And now we're building up this highly engaged, highly active community platform made up of multiple different communities. Now, you won't see those other communities unless you're part of them. But once they are, it just adds to their engagement in the platform. Hopefully that makes sense, but that is super exciting. A lot of the reasons why a lot of us have chosen Facebook in the past for our community groups is because it had so much activity. People were already on Facebook. Now, as more and more people are creating Kajabi communities, you're going to have a lot more people inside of the community platform engaged, getting used to it, doing multiple challenges in different areas without the distraction of ads interrupting it, without necessarily distractions from people in like their personal lives on their news feeds, sending them messages. I don't know. I'm excited, but that's awesome. And that's just one big advantage that Kajabi is creating with this new platform that even the old Kajabi communities, while it had aspects of it, it didn't have as much engagement as this new 2.0 version will have. Now, as far as offers go, you have the option, just like your traditional products, to have a paid offer or a free offer. So if you have a free offer for an access group, then you might also have a paid access group. And should anyone want to get access to that paid access group, just like any other product, they would go through your checkout process, pay for the access, and they would be granted, purchasing an offer that would give them the product of the paid access group. Now, as far as how they do that, like I said, just through a regular checkout. It's not done through the community app. It's not a separate paywall. It's just a checkout. Boom. Here you go. Here's access to your second group. Now, all of those groups will show in their library. So they will see they are part of a free access group, whatever you call it. And then you'll have the paid access group with whatever you call it, but it'll show up as two separate products in their library, but it goes to the same community platform. That's the only time that it looks like it's two separate things, but inside of their community, it'll just show up as here's the stuff that you have access to. Pretty simple. Now, if you have a free group or a paid group, and as I said, if you want to give some sort of access to an upper level or tier, you could create a second group, or depending on the size of that upper group, you might have just private circles that you might add 5, 10, 15, 20 people to a private circle for some sort of elite advanced discussion topic. Just realize that you'll be manually inviting them and then removing them from those private circles. Also, if you are doing a paid subscription to an access group, it's important to have some sort of plan in place for what you want to happen when someone cancels their subscription. You could choose to just completely negate their access to the community completely if it is only for paying members, or if you have a free access group and a paid access group, when someone subscribes to the paid group, also grant them access using an automation to a free group offer. That way, if they cancel their paying group, they would still have that second offer of the free group, so they can still access the community. They just won't have access to the paid group anymore. The system will automatically realize they don't have access because it won't be in their library, and they'll just see the free group until they upgrade again to a paying subscription. If you don't do the free group offer separately and you just cancel their paid access, they just won't have access to the community. It is handled automatically, but it doesn't downgrade them to the free group. They need to already have or be granted access to the free group once they cancel their paid subscription. All right, so with all of that said, let's jump in and show you how to build this from scratch if you haven't yet started your Communities 2.0. So first you'll go to your settings, your all products, you'll click Get Started. As you can see, your typical products are here. In this case, you'll click Community and hit Get Started. Now, if you haven't already started a community, this is the place where you can enter your beta title, your beta description, or your actual title and description. You get the point. And this is the preview of how it will look in the final kind of community display once it's good to go. Then you can upload an image that will be placed here inside of your community, or you can skip it and just move forward. Now that you have your community container created, you'll need to create your first access group. And at this point, once you have created your community the first time, moving forward, you'll just be adding new access groups to the community. So in this case, we'll just call this the general access group. And let's say for example purposes, this one will be free. Now I could just skip it completely. All this is doing is creating the offer that will go with this access group. And I can always change that later. So I'm going to make it free right away. And here we are inside of the beta. Now on my left, you can see another test site I had created, as well as the actual test community I had started up to test this beta out. I'll come back to that eventually. So here we are inside of the first screen that you will see when you start up your beta. As you can see, there's a circle that's created by default to go with your general access group. And again, I called it general. You could call your access group whatever you want. And you can also adjust the settings for this to however you want. You can go up here to your settings where you can see, hey, this community has one new member in the last 7 days. You can see the details that we established early on. So you can update the image, update the name, the description, the guidelines. You can create challenges. So as it relates to the challenges, you've got a couple setup options. You can have a one-time challenge and you can say, schedule it for today or sometime in the future, how long you want the challenge to last and what the series will be. The recurring challenge, if let's say you want a 7-day challenge, then you'd want it to start today or whenever. And you would say you want it every day for 7 days. Or if you were doing a 7-week challenge, then you might want to do it for 7 weeks. You get the point. You can have this challenge visible to people before it starts to let them know it's coming, or you can have it turned off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can explore this. You've got your meetups. So inside your meetups, you can decide if you want to create a meetup, think a private Zoom meeting, essentially. So you can create a new meetup and you can say when you want this meetup to take place. Is it actually in the conference room somewhere, or is this a virtual room? You can also decide if you want to use the live room, which is the default room for the community, or if you want to create a private room. If you choose to create a private room, you'll actually get your own kind of private Zoom link, but as you can see, it's still branded to Vibely. But for your private groups, you might want to do a private meetup. All right. And like I said, I'm going through this really quickly because a lot more details will be made available during the launch in January. I'm just giving you an idea of what all of this is. You can assign a meetup to a specific access group. And even within the access group, you can define a circle to associate it to. We can go over to circles, and here you can see this default circle that was created was called Q&A. I might just call this general discussion for the general access group. But again, this could be dog training, nutrition, weight loss, marketing, pay-per-click, social media, whatever you want to call it. It's just a theme so that anyone in your community knows what this circle is about. You can give it an image if you want. You can make it public or private, like I discussed earlier. You get the gist. And then you've got announcements and you've got a custom page. So a custom page lets you add another page to the navigation. You can make it your home page, for example. So you could actually link to your course library and make it the home page so that anybody who lands in the community will actually see your custom page either as their first page or as a navigation. Some of the use cases for the custom page, you could do a library page, a resource page with downloads and PDFs, or you could use the custom page to promote one of your paid groups if you wanted to create one. So to give you an idea of what you can do with a custom page, here I am inside of the test group that I started up for the Kajabi beta. And I created a Kajabi landing page. This is just a template, but I've got a video background and a nice photo that kind of matches the office environment. But here's a prime example. So you can use a custom page and you could use it to promote an upgrade to the paid group if you wanted to create one. You could also use this to promote anything else that you have going on, courses, for example. Maybe you use this custom page as a page. Maybe you use it as social proof of just other success stories of people within the community from last week, last month, last couple months, especially if this is a paid subscription, just to encourage people to continue their subscription. Now, as it stands right now, you can't customize the custom page based off of the group. So basically, anyone who's part of your community will see this page, regardless of whether they already have upgraded to your paid subscription, etc. But a lot of flexibility here that you can use it however you see fit to advertise whatever you want within your community. Going back into here, you can see that this circle is set up more like your traditional kind of group posting. So you can add photos and videos. You can link to like a YouTube video. You can write a test post and post it, and it'll show up. And then people can say they were inspired by it, like a like, they can add comments. And as the moderator, you could come in, delete it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then real quick, like I mentioned before, your circles, you can create additional circles. So I could create a chat circle that would be more like a chat room, and you associate it with an access group. And instead of it being a feed, like your Facebook news feed, it'd be more like a chat. So almost like an iMessage chat, a BBM, like a group chat, basically. And then you can make it private or public, as I mentioned before. Now, going back to the site, as you can see in the products, here is the product I created, which is the access group called General. Now I could create a paid access group. So I'd come back to the products, hit get started, call this paid group. And in this case, I would actually make it paid. Now I don't actually have the setup for payments in this test site, but this is how you would do it. So I've actually, you know what, I'll just say skip for now. And just like that, I've now created a second group. This would be a paid group. Now inside of the community, if I go back, you'll see that there's actually no second group yet. The reason why is because there's no circle added to it. So I would do a paid circle, test stuff, access group, paid group, and I could make it private, but I probably wouldn't. And then I'll just have it public to the group. And now you can see there's a second access group called paid group. And inside it, there's a circle called paid circle, which again, I could name however I want. Now, if I were to go into the offers, this is where you would then set up how you want your access to those groups to be done. So I could have a free offer. I could make this a paid offer. I could make it a subscription offer. However, the offers are just what grants them access to the product that gives them the access group in the community. Now, if you already have an existing community with the 1.0 version and you're looking to move everyone to the community 2.0, it's really simple. All you're going to do is create an access group for your new community, tie it to an offer, whether it's free or paid, and then you're going to grant all of your existing community members that offer. That way they'll get notified, hey, you've been granted access to this offer, and that offer will have access to the community's 2.0 group. That's all it is. You're just granting access to the new community. There's no transferring of people over in the traditional sense. You're just granting them access. Very similar, but it's not a movement as much as like, hey, here you go. You have access to it now. Now, there's no need to delete the existing Kajabi Communities 1.0 unless you're super gung-ho about getting rid of it. It will still be accessible and available for the near future while the 2.0 is rolling out. So don't feel the need to delete your Communities 1.0 right away, but just realize that you probably do want to let everyone know, hey, we're moving to this 2.0 version. Whether you want to wait until the official launch happens or do it while it's in beta, it's up to you. The Kajabi team has said that anybody who is using the beta right now, they won't see any sort of disruption or it won't be wiped out when the new official version launches. It'll just be updated to the new version. Now, there's also been a lot of questions about the app for the Kajabi communities. So right now, it's basically the old Vibely app. just rebranded as Kajabi Communities. You can find it in the App Store for your mobile device if you have an app store available for it. And then once you download the app, accessing your community is literally the same as it was for the Kajabi product app. They just enter their email address. It'll send them an access link. They click that, and then they're inside. Now, the nice thing about the Communities app is they don't need to log in to a desktop website to access the community. They just load up the app and they're right inside. They can get their notifications. They can join the live meetings. They can join challenges. You as the admin can start challenges. You can start live meetings. You can create new circles. It's all done within the app. So if you don't already have the app and you're using the beta, download it, try it out. You'll see it's awesome. It's a lot like accessing a Facebook group from an app on your phone. It's quick to load. It's quick to engage with other people. You can get involved in discussions. It's awesome. And that is really what's going to help keep your engagement up with your community, because they don't need to log in to a website to access the community. They actually can just use the app, and they can also swap back and forth to other communities that they are part of within that app. So again, it helps that with all of us Kajabi heroes using the communities platform, they might be part of 6, 7, 8, a dozen different communities that they'll be hopping back and forth on within the same app. And that's going to keep their engagement and your interaction with them at super high levels. So it's a win-win all around. I'm excited. So hopefully this addressed a lot of the questions that you might have for getting started with the Communities 2.0 beta. Like I said, the official launch is happening in January. So a lot of this might change, or just some of the features and setup situations might change. I know myself and a lot of the other Kajabi community members have given dozens, if not hundreds, of feedback, suggestions, and ideas for the Kajabi dev team to consider for the new beta. So we're all excited. We'll see what gets implemented right away and maybe what rolls out in the future. But no matter what, now is the time to really get on board, because this is going to be a game changer for the digital businesses that implement. In the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the year for 2022 and get ready for an exciting 2023. We've got some fun and adventurous new updates coming to the Kajabi platform from what I've heard, and I look forward to seeing them all roll out in due time. Take care.